Hello, welcome in. This is Cleo, and I've got a really important message for somebody out there who I've been told is really making waves in this reality. So I hope you're all doing really well. Thank you so much for all your support on the channel. I really appreciate that. And for anyone who's new here, this is a tarot station where I help you as best I can create your own reality. And we use the tarot keys in the way they were always intended, and that is to be the creator of your own reality. So this is your reality creation station, and I'm going to dive right in and see what the divine has to tell us, okay? Spirit guides, angels, higher beings, ancestors, please let me know the most important message you have for my viewer. Okay, we've got the Six of Pentacles coming out. And straight away, what I'm getting is that you've got something mega. You've got something mighty. You've got a mighty gift to share with the world. The Six of Pentacles can be about being generous with your energy or someone being generous with you. And I think in this case, it's almost like the more you receive from the universe, the more guidance and the more information you sync up with, the more you have the urge to share it. Or perhaps Spirit is encouraging you to share this and have confidence in yourself and have faith in yourself that the energy you possess and the ways you have and who you are is so valuable that you're meant to leave a mighty imprint on this reality. I'm hearing that there's something you've got that a lot of people would gorge on. They would really enjoy it, you know. But not only that, I feel like it would shift them. I feel like it would have, what I'm hearing is unchangeable. Okay, so it's almost like the information you've got or the gift you've got that you're being encouraged to share with the world would have such a huge effect on people that they could never go back to the former confines they were in before. This is something that would change their spirit forever in a really life-altering major way, okay? And they want you to know that as much as you may doubt yourself sometimes, and as much as you may think, well, really, do I really want to do this? They're saying this is why you came. This is what you're here for. Your destiny and your fate is unchangeable because you promised yourself, and I'm getting the tingles right now, you promised yourself you would do this from, you know, the backstage vantage point before you incarnated in the physical. You were like, right, this is my mission. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to bring all of this stuff together and I'm going to release it in a way that will change people's lives forever. Once something doesn't want me getting this message out, that's how potent and that's how powerful and that's how gloriously divine you are, that something does not want me getting this message out to you, okay? Because you're meant to do this. All right, there's something about what you're going to do having such a long-lasting and glorious effect on the world that there are some people who are invested in maybe trying to not make this happen. What I'm getting is, yeah, Six of Wands, victory. What I'm getting is, you know, you may have experienced moments of anxiety, feeling fearful or feeling doubtful and stuff like that when it comes to maybe who you are or, you know, the project you want to move forward with, something like that. It's because some people are sending sort of negative psychic energy towards you because they're invested in people being fearful and weak and powerless, whereas what you've got will make people powerful and self-assured and all-knowing. You know, there's something about helping people know themselves in a really spiritual and beautiful way and giving people metaphysical assuredness, really assuring people of their divinity. And I'm hearing their right to be alive, you know, and their right to freedom and free will and their right to be what they are on an etheric level. Okay, so this is serious business. And you do have the Six of Wands here. Spirit wants me to reassure you that you are divinely blessed and protected at all times. So no matter how much negative energy certain energies may send your way, certain beings may send your way, they're powerless. Okay, and if they weren't powerless, they wouldn't have to send psychic attacks now, would they? You know, I'm hearing prevention is better than cure. They couldn't cure the effect that you are going to have on the world. So what they're trying to do is prevent you having that effect. If they had any real power, they wouldn't need to send you negative energy to try and put you off doing it now, would they? All right. So it's all a big illusion. Okay. So maybe you're not aware that people can do that, but everything's connected in the quantum field. And what I'm getting is that your victory is assured because there are so many divine beings betting on you, putting their energy into you. I'm getting that sometimes you have these wonderful days or moments where everything just feels so uplifted and so wonderful and so bounteous. And you're like, yeah, I'm going to do this. This is who I am. And then sometimes, you have the opposite. And it's almost like a test for your soul to kind of get in there and make something happen on the upswing. When you're having one of those beautiful moments, Spirit's saying, make the most of it. Do what you can with this project or with this divine gift of yours, okay? Because you're a God. What they're telling me is you are a God, and there are energies and forces that have gone out of their way to try and make you feel like you are the opposite of that, okay? So you're this one here on the horse. You've already mastered so many things in so many lifetimes here. But what's happening on the earth plane is that certain energies or beings, and I'm almost on the verge of saying entities, but that makes them sound more powerful than they are. You know what I mean? They're trying to make you feel as if you are down here, okay, when you've already mastered so much, maybe in other worlds or other lifetimes or other chapters or other incarnations, but you're very much immortal. And you knew coming to Earth as a God would be tricky and challenging because, you're going to have those moments where you really know yourself and you can really feel that divine power within you. And then maybe other times, you look around you and it can be quite low frequency here, can't it? And sometimes, you have those moments where you think, am I a megalomaniac or am I really what I am? And Spirit is saying, yes, you really are a God. You really are what you know yourself to be. And they're saying, it's not as rare a status as you might think, on the earth plane. To say you're a God, it sounds nuts to people who aren't part of the tarot community or people who aren't part of the spiritual community. But that just means you've been around a long, long time and you've achieved a lot of things. Okay, so you have divine authority. I'm hearing you are a divine authority, and they really want that to sink in. You are a divine authority. And they want you to trust that authority and know in that authority with every move you make and every breath you take. Okay, because victory is assured here. And you've come to the earth plane at a time when, sometimes it seems really high vibrational. But it's almost like, compared to the other places you've lived and incarnated, it can feel a bit dense for you, because you are a God. So they're saying, we knew this would be tricky. You knew this would be tricky, but you knew you'd find a way. On the upswing, they keep saying, when you're feeling that glorious energy and momentum, they're saying run with that momentum when you feel good. And if you've got to put the project down and leave it alone for a little while and maybe even think, oh God, I'm never going to touch that again or whatever, cool, do that. But when you have that feeling come in again, that glorious divine feeling, pick it up again and go back to it. There's nothing wrong with you stopping and starting a little bit here, but you will get it done, okay? They're saying just go with the flow of your higher self and go with the flow of how you're feeling, because this is your mission in life, to get this done, okay? Whew, we've got the 3 and the 2. They're really telling me there's a big difference here between what you think could happen and what will happen, okay? 5 of Cups is normally about disappointments and not feeling too great. And I feel like maybe there's this feeling in you where you haven't got this divine thing done yet, where you feel a little bit disappointed with yourself. And Spirit's saying, you're an immortal being. There's no rush. You've got plenty of time here. Okay, so maybe, being that you've achieved so much in other lives, maybe you feel like you should have had this thing completed already. And maybe sometimes that makes you feel like perhaps it's not meant to be just because you haven't got it done yet. And they're saying, nah, you've got plenty of time. And when you catch that drift and you kind of get on your horse of victory and you get moving with this thing, they're saying you catch up quickly anyway. And in the future, now knowing and having confirmation from this reading, when you get back on that horse of victory and you continue on with this kind of divine mission of yours, you're going to make progress really quickly. Okay, you're meant to sort of join this information with people's hearts with this Two of Cups here and get over this bridge to this little castle of victory where you feel secure and content and satisfied. This is about who you know yourself to be, truly on a soul level, and not letting anything sort of sway you or swerve you away from that. It's almost like little weather patterns maybe come into your life where, you know, what am I getting here? I'm getting astral projecting. They're saying there's nothing to be scared of, okay? But I'm getting astral projecting where it's almost like, you know, you could be walking along the street and maybe it feels like people are watching you or something like that. These are petty little energies that maybe are invested in keeping people in a lower mood. So, for example, if you make money out of people being depressed, you're not necessarily going to want people to stop being depressed, are you now? And what I'm getting is these energies, yeah, they have an effect on you, but they're completely powerless other than that. It's almost like you've been sent little weather patterns, you know, like a little storm will come over your mind and you'll feel down and depressed perhaps, you know, and that'll make you see life through a completely different lens of consciousness and maybe doubt who you are or doubt this process or this project. And they're saying, no, victory is assured for you. And it's natural that you being a god, you'd attract in some enemy energy, okay? And it can only be from afar nowadays because we are at a much higher frequency than we've ever been before on this planet, okay? And I do feel like what you're bringing here, you know, you have a deep devotion and a deep care for other people, you know? And I want to sort of iterate here. When I say God, I mean male or female. You are a deity, okay? Often the word goddess, it sort of sounds all sensual, doesn't it? And it sounds all like, you know, flowery and beautiful and lovely, but you know, male or female, you are a god, and I feel like you have a deep caring for people and wanting to heal people and nurture people to the point where they will never be down ever again. Four of Swords energy here. You know, there's something in your work here that will provide people with a spiritual sanctuary, and it will ingrain within them, it will imprint upon their souls in a way, and this could be a book, it could be anything, but it will imprint on their souls in a way that they can never forget. Even when they reincarnate in a different life, this thing you're offering people will still be with them, etched into their soul. Okay, I am getting stone tablets here. All right, and I'm getting a lot of goosebumps during this reading. Okay, so this is something really special, and it will be like you pouring your heart out all over the earth plane, King of Cups. You will find a stable, solid emotional base to go forward on. Now I've told you that, you know, maybe certain energies, maybe they're not even focused on you directly, but it's like anyone who finds a cure for people, it's like they automatically, see how my words went funny then? Because they don't want us being strong in our divine energy. It's almost like energies are automatically sent out to whoever hits a frequency of a cure for people that doesn't involve them spending money, right? Or being reliant or codependent on a certain system that people make huge amounts of money from. Okay, what you're going to give people is their personal power back. Somehow, some way, I don't know how you're going to do this, but you're going to give people some divine power. This is like having a candle, and lighting other people's candles does not diminish yours. This is how powerful what you hold, the flame you hold is so powerful. It can light infinite other candles. And this is what you're going to be doing for people. King of Cups, I do feel you really sort of finding this strong emotional sort of balance within you now. Okay. And please, you know, don't get paranoid about what I said about astral projecting. I just feel like certain companies or certain, you know, groups of people who make a lot of money in certain areas, they've got things set up so that energy automatically goes out to people to put people off doing what they're going to be doing on a spiritual level, because they don't want people believing in spirituality. They want people being codependent. They want people being weak if they make money off it. They're that selfish. Well, God watches everything and sees all. Okay, so what I'm being told is to tell you to let the divine protection in more by saying, I accept my divine protection, and saying things out loud like that, you know, so that you will find this sort of really stable and balanced emotionality. As we can see, the King of Cups, there's all these waves and crazy stuff going on around him, but he's got this stable, solid platform that no one can shake him off of. So they want you to know you have achieved a high level of personal development, like emotionally, spiritually, with the King of Cups. And you are somewhat, I don't like the word guru, but you are somewhat of a spiritual advisor. Whether anyone would see you like that or whether you would even see yourself like that, They come in all shapes and forms and sizes. People who really, really benefit people, they don't often look like gurus. They don't often look like, people who are spiritual. They just have something, that je ne sais quoi. They have something special to share with people. And in your case, I feel like you're going to get the reassurance you need now that you are an absolute evolved soul, that you are a god, a deity, and you've come here to do things differently and powerfully. Okay. And I do feel like there's part of you that the longer you leave it, the more disappointed you feel. And that's your soul sort of feeling this sort of grief, because this is something you've just got to do. So when there are times where you kind of maybe are down on yourself, or maybe think of turning away from who you truly are, your soul will feel it, and it'll feel like a yearning, like a pining, like a sort of grey kind of sorrow. They're saying, once you turn towards the victory, that feeling goes away. Let yourself be uplifted, lighthearted, and you will start downloading even more from the ethers, from the non-physical. You'll start pulling in so much more divine information, and your life is gonna start sort of rolling along on the right trajectory, on the right pathway. You've got so much divinity to spread onto this plane, and they're saying you've got no idea right now, I don't think, how pivotal your work is and how fundamental it is to making sure the future is beautiful. Okay, they want that to really sink in as well. Your work is pivotal in making sure that the future is beautiful, not just for you, but for everyone else as well. Okay, it's like, I was going to say the butterfly effect, but this is like the dragon effect. This is like such a huge thing you're doing that might not feel huge at the time, but your soul knows which way to go. Okay, and only you will know what this project is. But yeah, I feel like, there has been some stalling here with the Knight of Pentacles. Maybe because you've got a 9 to 5 right now. Maybe because there are demands placed on you. But they're saying once you start galloping in that direction, rather than, staying on the pathway you're on so much, you're going to start to feel a lot better. 5 of Swords. See, there's that mental conflict energies, and I feel like they're very far away from you. But like I say, this is a big old quantum field that we all share. There are energies trying to cause you mental conflict, okay? From a distance, my love, from a distance. But we've got the 3 of Cups coming out on top of the 5 of Cups here. So celebrating your spiritual positioning, celebrating your divine authority will lead to you getting this thing done. And you are helping create a beautiful reality going forward, okay? And some people, maybe they're not high enough frequency to want to be in a reality like that, because low frequency individuals, they feed off of low frequency things, you see, but they can't come with you. Okay. They will break off onto a different timeline. The energies that send you maybe spiritual attacks or whatever, they're not destined to be in this beautiful, bright future, and they wouldn't know what to do with themselves anyway. Okay. No way. Okay. We've got victory on top of victory. All right, victory for you, victory for the divine, victory for all the people who directly or indirectly are affected by this essence of yours that you're sharing with the world in some format or another. This is what you're destined for, pure victory. Okay, they're saying 6 + 6 is 12. I feel like you're going to have something solid produced within a year's time. Okay, and they're saying go with the cycles here. Okay, it might feel like life is lived on a straight line, but everything is circular. So know that even if you have your bad days, and that could be because of outside forces, which I feel like now you're aware of, they're not going to affect you so much. But I also feel like this could also be because something in your higher self, something is pulling you along. Your higher self is pulling you along. And Abraham Hicks often talks about how when we don't line up with our inner being, we can sort of feel the separation. And I feel like that's what's happening with you. When you separate from your higher self and you separate from who you truly know yourself to be on a core spiritual level, you get a bit down. But they're saying, now you're aware of that. I don't feel like it's going to happen too much anymore. Okay, what was that? The Chariot, that wanted to fall on the floor. There's a little bit of interference even in this reading because obviously, cause and effect. I'm helping you with your project. Energies will even come to me while I'm doing my readings. Just because, The old energy puts up a fight before it dies, and we're moving into the future now, and the old energy cannot come with us. The Chariot energy here, moving forward in victory. When you move with the heart, when you flow with the heart, everything has to go your way because the divine is with you, riding this chariot with you. Okay, I'm hearing the chariot is in the sky. Okay, so you're part of a major divine movement on this earth at the moment. King of Swords, they're saying, sometimes it's good to be neutral and to just stick with cold, rational, hard facts. When it comes to maybe something that makes you feel too emotional or something like that, you can be in King of Swords energy and still have all your divine energy around you. As much as it's rational and logical, this is about you kind of being hard with yourself, and I mean tough with yourself when it comes to being, you're a god. You got to say that to yourself. I know I'm a god. I know I'm here to do great things, and that's it. This is kind of what this King of Swords is giving me here. Don't indulge in too much negative emotion. Know that the cycle is pulling you up all the time. You're always moving upwards in a beautiful divine spiral is what I'm getting here. You're the best at what you do. You're one of the best. That's why you've come here to do what you're doing. We've got a little dinosaur here. Okay, so the old ways cannot go on anymore. And like I said, wow, that's so cute that I've just got the fork coming out when they told me that, the work you're producing, people will want to gorge on, even if it seems a little bit out there or different or new, maybe not, you know what I mean? But there's something you're doing that people will be gorging on. They're hungry for it and they need it. Their souls need it. And it will be a very loving move for you to make. And you will be ticking a big box on your spiritual resume when you complete this. And you'll be ever so happy with yourself. When you're moving closer towards your goal, that's when you feel happiest. And I feel like times when maybe you haven't got time to work on this thing or something like that, you can feel the tug of your higher self. And, they're saying there's no rush, but the more you move in the right direction, even just with your thoughts towards completing this project, the more you will feel amazing. All right. You've got such strong ancestral protection here. And please know you're the best at what you do, even if you do it differently. And even if, you've never seen anyone like you before doing it like you, that's because you're a god. And humans have a tendency to copy one another and want to fit in with each other. Well, that's not your job as a god. Your job is to stand out or just be your own unique self in a very potent, strong, and effective way. You have a very strong effect on people. There we go. Your ancestors are watching over you. So no matter what puny energies try and bother you or try and put thoughts in your head. And again, you can have big companies trying to do this to people because they are invested and they're also control freaks. You know what I mean? They think they own the whole world. They think they can control people and choose which pathway people go down. And God's saying, no. Even I don't try and control people, and that's God speaking. Even God doesn't try and control people because people are free to live in their divine energy, and you're going to help them in every instance. Choose love over fear. That came out on the last reading. I had the book open for quite a while, but perhaps that is relevant for you as well. Okay, choose love, choose love, choose love. Remember, you're a God, and yeah, this will be big. This is a massive thing, and you can do it. Okay, I love you loads. Mwah.